Hey guys, I'm standing here in front of this brick wall for a reason. For right at 15 years now, I have studied, researched, talked about this square footage number and, talked about it to anybody I could get to listen. And after 15 years, it's still like I'm talking to a brick wall. I can't break through that wall. Actually, the square footage information in MLS is worse now than it's ever been. It keeps getting worse. Now, I have agents tell me all the time, square footage is just not that big a deal. It's not that important. So what do? I ask them to give me a copy of their last CMA. Well, what's in that CMA? There it is, the average price per square foot. Well, guys, you can't have it both ways. Either it's important or it's not. And if you're going to use an average price per square foot, then that square footage total has to be accurate. There's no way. If the number's not right, then the value that you get is going to be either over or underpriced. But most agents tell me they don't think it's that important. And what do appraisers tell me? Guess what? Square footage is not that big a deal. That is not the way to price real estate. You should never use a price per square foot value. Appraisers think that only realtors use that. It's beneath them, so appraisers don't want to use it. Well, guess what? They do. Every time they fill out a report on the mandatory URAR appraisal form, there's one automatic adjustment, and you guessed it, price per square foot. At the very top of this grid, on every comparable sale, the price per square foot is automatically calculated. Now, when an underwriter, reviewer, whatever, is looking at this appraisal form, they look at that number across the top of the form, and it's got an average price per square foot. Well, if that subject's price per square foot doesn't fall within that range of the comparables, you've got a problem. So appraisers, it's just a fact of this business. We live in a price per square foot world. That's not going to change anytime soon. That's the way America prices real estate. Ask any owner, at the end of the day, it comes down to a price per square foot number. And if that number is wrong, it changes the values. I want to tell you about one appraisal I'm working on right now. The MLS reported this sale as a closed sale, I guess a little over 4 years ago. They reported the sale with 3,045 square feet. I didn't think anything about it. The owner's been living in this house and he thinks he's living in a house with 3,045 square feet. So they get a pre-listing appraisal now, which is a really good idea. And guess what? This appraiser comes up with 2,845. 2,845, there's 197 square feet difference. Well, it turns out in this case that the listing agent came up with like 184.50 something per square foot, was their average per square foot. And on the appraisal, it was like $185 a square foot. So, we were within like 40 some cents of each other on this number. So that was really close. But you change that by almost 200 square feet and somebody's out $36,000. That's real money, folks. It is, that $36,000 has been in that owner's head all this time, and all of a sudden somebody has taken that out. It's just like taking out your checkbook and writing a check for $36,000. It's real money, folks. We are the real estate experts, and that means since we're the real estate experts, we are the square footage experts. This number should be important to all of us. And it's still hard for me to believe that we don't have a nationally mandated measurement standard. Agents, appraisers, architects, assessors, whoever, there's not any industry-wide mandated measurement standard. And I understand why people, are hesitant to measure houses, because you don't have any, uniform measurement standard that everybody uses. And that's something that we've got to change. But as the real estate experts, our integrity is almost at question. Our ethical obligation to our clients depends on having accurate square footage. And I almost hate to use this word, but it's almost like the MLS has become the fake news of square footage. That sounds bad, right? The MLS is like fake news when it comes to square footage. We are not the source of square footage at all, not anymore. And when the MLS was started back in 1908, part of the reason was because they knew the tax records were wrong. So part of the goal of MLS was to have better information. Well, if you look at MLS these days, most of the time that number looks just like the number in public records. And if everybody's using that same number, we are not the most trusted source of real estate information in the world at all anymore. Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, whoever, we're all using the same information, and that information is wrong more than it's right. Folks, if we're going to use a price per square foot formula to calculate real estate prices all across America, we need to get this number right. It makes a difference to your peers. It makes a difference to your clients. We are the real estate professionals, and we all need to agree that this number makes a difference. I hate to say this again, but guess what? Size matters. It really does matter. And I want to challenge you to try it for yourself. The next time you take a listing, I want you to take your square footage from public records, and then I want you to either, whether you measure it, somebody in your office, or whether you hire an appraiser to measure it, get somebody else to actually measure the house and compare those two numbers. Chances are there's going to be a difference. It may be 30 or 40 square feet. It may be 400 or 500. I've seen them over 2,000. And especially homes that have either upper levels or lower levels, the tax records are an equal opportunity offender, and they can be wrong, by amounts that really change the difference. But if you'll do that test and see, take your average price per square foot, do it on the number from tax records, and then do it on the number that was actually measured. Then calculate the difference and get out your checkbook. This is real money, folks. We are the real estate experts. Size does matter, and it's up to us to get it right.